We are leaving in daylight. This is unusual for me. I'm normally down at the boat for as early as I could possibly be. But I wanted a bit of a lay-in today. I've been working hard, so a bit of a lay-in. Just coming down out of my local estuary now. What we're going to do today is we are going to get on the plaice. The weather can be turning. It's there's lots of different weather forecasts at the moment, so I can't decide which one's going to be right. So we can't go too far. I've got to stay quite close to shore just in case. So we're going to go on a plaice hunt. Hopefully maybe a turbot and some bass, but we've got plenty of ragworm, so that's what we're going to do. So let's get out onto the mark, and like always, once we get set up, I'll bring you back. Cue the music.
Ain't got the reason, ain't got the right to keep up with this information all the time. So I lose myself in my mind. You gotta kick me out of bed, 'cause if you don't, then I'm gonna lose my head. That's what I said. Ooh, I better cool down instead. Solitary game of cards, delivering a cyber sound of moving cars as they roll.
At the moment, we've just come out of our marina, and we're out in the middle of the Solent. Now the idea was to punch all the way round to Bournemouth and have a go for some more plaice. There's been 4 or 5 different weather reports, and I picked the one that should be good, and it's not. We've got quite a strong southerly southwest wind coming down the western side of the Solent here, so we're going to have to tuck up somewhere. I've only brought ragworm because we were going for a plaice, so I think we're going to have to go for bass. Is pretty much our only option with ragworm. It's still a beautiful morning out here. There's the sunrise in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot round over to the Isle of Wight. There's a few marks that I think should hold some decent bass this time of year. And there is another option we've got for some inshore plaice, just up in the western side of the Solent. Whether they'll be there yet or not, I don't know, but we can only try. So what we'll do, once we're set up, like always, we'll bring you back. Right, we're just having a random little drift on these banks here. We're still in the Solent. I've just stuck one rod down for a minute. There is fish showing on the finder. It's probably whiting and pout, but I thought, why not? Let's just have a little drift across the top of this bank. It's a well-known bank for cod and congers, to be honest. It's not a sandy bank. It's rough. It's rocky, but why not? Let's have a drift on it. You never know. It's going to be a bit of an exploring day today, because oh, was that a bite? Because our plan's gone out the window. So let's just mooch about. We'll tuck in from the wind. We'll mooch about. We'll have a look at a bit of grounds that we've never fished before. We'll go into a few little bays. We'll just mooch about. Better than being sat at home on a sofa, eh? Oh, that was a bite. Go on, heave over. Oh, there he goes. Is he gonna go? Oh, it was just coming over the bank, I think. Like I said, it's rough and rocky and horrible on this bank. There's lots of sort of fish showing mid-water on there. Oh, it's very windy. Right, we'll carry on with this drift and then we'll tuck up in a bay somewhere. Right, we have come in to Osborne Bay. It's a little sandy bay. We've come in here and we're having a little drift through here. It's well tucked in out of the wind here. It's lovely. All I'm doing is on this rod, I've just got a single hook length running ledger with a with orange and black beads, and a couple little spinners on there with ragworm. And on the red rod here, we've got a 3-hook scratching rig, and we're just having a little mooch about. It's beautiful in there. We've got about 2 hours till high water. This is Osborne Bay here. You've got a castle right up in the background. You can't see it at the moment. You're not allowed to land on this beach. It's private, owned by the royals. But we're just having a little look. I'm not expecting a great deal in here, to be honest. Oh, he says. Is that a bite? No. Yeah, I'm not expecting a great deal in here, to be honest. It's just it's a little bit tucked out of the wind, so I thought I'd give it a little shout. Might get a few shoal bass, and I mean, you never know. You might get the odd flounder or plaice in there, but I mean, we're not drifting very fast. We are drifting at 0.4 knots, so yeah, there's no tide in there. It's well tucked up. But our next bay is about another mile down, so we'll give it 10-20 minutes here, and then we'll shoot over to the next bay, see what that has to hold for us. Now I know that next bay's got a bit of a reef, and it runs into sand, so I might be able to anchor that and just, I mean, it's very shallow reef, mind you. It's exposed on low tide, but there might be a few bass holding up on it. It's beautiful out here though when it's tucked in. When we're tucked in these bays, as soon as you get around that corner, it's pretty horrible. Very cold. The wind seems to have dropped right off, you know. Maybe we're wasting our time. Maybe we should have gone round to Bournemouth. But it is a long old way. You're looking at about 15 miles down the western side of the Solent till I get to the Needles, and then I'll be shooting another 3 or 4 miles into Bournemouth. If we get round there and it's vile weather, or I mean, we had a bit of a storm yesterday, so if we got round there and there's still a massive swell running or something like that, it wouldn't be worth our while. A lot of fuel wasted. You never know, we might stumble into some fish. Let's just keep at it. Pretty lovely out here. What we've got, this is a sandy bay with a shingle edge. It's like muddy sand. There's a bit of seagrass through here, and just over here there's like a reef. We're having a spin round all over the place at the moment. There's not much tide. Like I said, we're still only drifting at 0.7 knots when we're tucked into these bays. But I mean, look at this. It's pretty lovely. We've camped up on this beach before. We've got like a little creek inlet over here. I've never really explored that. Very shallow, I think. It's like a very small sort of creek. Get a load of that sun poking his head out. Looks like a beautiful day in here in the Solent, but there is quite a strong, you can probably hear it when I turn the camera around facing this way, it's quite a strong southwesterly coming barreling down the western side of the Solent. We'll give it another 10 minutes in there. And I've got a load of sandbars in the Solent that I'm going to anchor up on. Whether it'll hold plaice, I don't know, but I mean, I've had a couple of small plaice off it in the past, but I think it's primarily going to be bass on it. Let's give it another 10 minutes. Right, we are, of course that sun's going to be right there. We're having another move. I'm gonna get in Southampton water and see if we can find a flounder. Now, I've tried a few of these bays, and there is a bugger all about. So the idea is, if we get up into Southampton water, we'll have a chance of some flounder. I know that there'll be loads of bass to keep the rods bouncing about, and it'll be really protected as well from the wind. Like I said, it doesn't look like it's windy in these little bays here, but it's it's quite a strong southwesterly. So once I get out into the main sort of hit of the wind, I'll give you another little clip on how choppy it is. But that's the idea. Let's get up in there, see if we can find a couple of little flounder and hopefully some bass. Let's go. It's always a shame to see these bloody balloons in the water. We'll get them out now. It's all fun and games when you're letting balloons go. I don't know, sometimes they can be, it can be for a reason, but they'll only end up in the sea, and we don't want that. So they'll go in the bin once I get back to the yard. Now you might notice that we are not up in Southampton water. I found a little bit of sand. It's like it's only about 5 little sandbars in amongst a load of rough ground. So I've anchored up on it. We might find a plaice on it. Probably won't, but you've got to be in it to win it. Like I said earlier, we don't have any other bait apart from ragworm, so we're pretty governed on where we can fish, really. There's no point fishing in these deep marks that will hold, congers and cod and things like that, because we've got little spinning rods and ragworm and light tackle. It's a shame we couldn't. I mean, you might notice now how choppy it is. So we're sort of tucked in, sort of Leon Solent Hill Head sort of area. Well, I say tucked in. We're quite close to the shoreline in the background here. So we've got that southwesterly wind steaming at us from that sort of direction. I mean, we're nearly on high water, so it might not even fish it, but it's worth just sticking the anchor in for a minute and having a little look. We've had bass on this area, in this area, but like I said, it's a little sandbar, so if there has been any plaice that have pushed through the Solent already, I mean, Brighton have got them, Bournemouth have got them, so they might have moved through the Solent already. If they have, then chances are that they may stick on these sandbars for a feed. Let's just give it a go. Just looking in the background, I don't know if you can see that. There's a load of birds just sat up in the water. I wonder if that's bass. They're not feeding, or they're not sort of diving or anything like that. But they seem to be sat waiting for something. Quite a group of them. There's probably about 20 of them sat there on top of the water. Could be bass. But anyway, let's give it half an hour on this mark. See if we do find any fish. If we don't, then we can go fish the ebb up in Southampton water. I always find the ebb fish is better up there anyway. Nice bit of tide pushing through it then, you see. You never know, we might stumble across something here. And of course, if we do, we'll bring you back. Homies, we are getting a bite. We were getting a little tap. What I've just done.
Solent RLB, this is Southern Coast Guard, go channel 0 and stand by.
Sorry about that. While I was waiting for a bite, I've just set up another rod, little size 2 hooks, a couple of beads. We're going to load that out of ragworm. Got 2 rods out with ragworm already.
This is Southern Coast Guard, you are rolling.
I think they're doing some training missions today. The radio's pretty busy. But anyway, yeah, so we've just set up enough rod. We're going to load that up with ragworm as well. We're going to get as many rods in as we can. Hopefully find a fish. I think we're pretty much on slack water at the moment. The tide's got a little bit left in it. We'll see how we get on. We'll see how we get on. The more baits we get in that water, the better chance we've got anyway. Getting a bite there, I think. Just going to leave that for a second. That had quite a good little rattle on that then. But yes, we're seriously scratching today. We are seriously on a scratching mission. Go on. Looked like a pout or whiting bite, to be honest, but at the moment, any fish on this deck is welcome. Get rid of that blank. Beautiful sunshine out there. Bloody freezing though. Hands are they're like blocks of ice. Numb. Let's have a little look at this. Nothing on there. Someone's had a good go at it though. Turn the hook round. That's a shame. That's why we didn't hook up. So I've got like a little pennel rig. It's almost like a pennel hook just to hold the worm straight on this. And the 2 hooks had swung round and sort of connected together. There's nothing that's going to hook up in that, but it's a good sign. We were fishing, it was quite shallow, fishing in 16, 17 foot of water. We're pretty shallow. But we can't even catch a fish. I know what will bring the bites on. Cup of coffee. Whenever you sit down and have a hot cup of coffee, it's when them rods start bouncing around. God, it'd be fun if they one of them heaps over now. No. once I get into that and start enjoying it, one of them rods is bound to bend over. This is what happens, you see. Whether you sit down for a sandwich, sit down for a cup of coffee or tea. Yeah, there you go. Middle rod. Go on. Yeah, fish on. Are you kidding me? Oh, what are the chances of that happening on camera? What we got? There's a good whiting. Oh, a little bass. Oh, there he goes. Genuinely, we were not getting bites before I started pouring that coffee then. There we go. It's the way. Get your coffee out or a cup of tea. You'll get a bite straight away. Top tip, that is. We're barely halfway through my coffee. And we're getting a little tap on this rod. Looks like a dogfish though. Someone just pecking at it. Nothing's on there. I'm telling you, this coffee is it's the way forward to get them bites going. Yeah, middle rod. Middle rod. Is he going to go? I don't think there's anything on there. There's an RNLI helicopter on its way out. Hopefully just for training and yeah, nothing on here. Yeah, hopefully that's on its way out for training and not a live event. There's what we're now, we're sort of mid-Feb at the moment, and there's algae blooms coming through already. Big red patches of algae coming through already, which is, everything seems to be happening early this year. We've had the plaice in early, we're starting to get the algae blooms early. The water temperature's as it should be this time of year, so it's all messed up. Seasons all seem to shift around a little bit, don't they? You used to be able to almost, tell what fish are going to be in where every sort of, even to the week where they're going to turn up. But these days it's just seem to be coming through. I mean, we had the cod quite late in the year. There was a few showing early, but and in the season, but there's still cod coming out now. I think someone had a few nice cod down the western side of the Solent last week, so they should be long gone by now. Plaice are in early. Flounder didn't really show. It's all messed up. I have to pour another coffee in a minute and get some more bites. We're on. Yeah, we're on to a fish here. I was just baiting that up. feels I could. Bit of dog. Oh no, I'm calling bass on this. I'm calling bass. It's not a bad little row, this. I haven't got the net set up, of course. Oh, that ain't a bad fish. Let's see if we can get this on without a net. We might lose this. Let's have a look. Whoa, we're on. Right, please don't flip out right now. There we go. Just hooked perfectly in the top lip. Oh, calm down, mate. Just going to show you to the camera and you can get back. There we go. I knew we'd find some fish eventually. That's not a bad little bass. It's probably only a pound, maybe 2 pounds, but that was nice. Good fun on the spinning rod. Yeah. There we go. Right. Well, we're starting to get a few fish. He's going back anyway. At this time of year, we're not allowed to keep bass. He's a bit small anyway. But that was good. We're starting to find a few fish. Let's get baited up and get these all sent back out. Come on, 10-pounder. Now we're starting to pick up a few bass. What I'm going to do, I only try and do this in shallow waters because it does work, but in deeper waters, it won't. I'm going to get a few ragworm and just dice them up, chuck them down so they drift off behind the boat. Because we're only in, what are we in now, 15 to 16 foot of water, that should settle on the seabed, maybe 30, 40 yards behind the boat. And if there's bass on the feed, they're going to start picking up on all these little bits and eventually find my bait. Freshwater anglers do this method all the time. It's called ground baiting. It does work for bass. If they come through and they'll pick up a few bits, they'll stay in that area looking for that food. So what I'll do is I'll get some chopped up, we'll get them sent out, we'll see how quick we can get another fish on. A few little taps now. Just want to mention, get myself bang at it, I just want to mention, I bought this ragworm, very good ragworm mind you. I bought it from Last Cast Saloon in Gosport. Now, we bought 1.5 pounds. There's supposed to be someone else out with me today, but he couldn't make it. But he dropped the worm off anyway. But I bought 1.5 pounds. Within about an hour, I had a phone call from Last Cast Saloon in Gosport, asking me if I'd checked the worm. Now, they'd had a tray that had started going a little bit funny in the shop, and he was worried that the worm that I had was from that tray. So, I was in the area anyway. He said, look, pop down to the shop. He said, I'm going to give you another £1 for free. That's brilliant business, that. And he said, just in case, I don't want you getting out onto your mark and finding the worm's crap. So I popped to the shop. He gave me another £1, completely free of charge. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we got a fish on while we're talking about this. He gave me another £1 for free. Now, once I did get home and check the worm, I discovered the worm was actually okay. So we donated £1 to local Marks Fishing. It's just nice that someone is worried about the product that they're selling. Yeah, he's only a little bass. Yeah, it's just nice to know that that shop was worried about the product they were selling. To phone me up directly and say, look, come and get another £1, just in case. Anyway, it's doing the business. We're catching a few fish on it. Well, the bites here have dropped right off. I haven't had a bite for about another hour now. We had like a little shoal of bass coming through. We picked out a few of them, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the anchor, get these reeled in, pull the anchor. I'm going to head up into Southampton water. Tide is fully pissing out now, so we'll We'll set up on one of the marks in there and hopefully we can find maybe a flounder. Chances are it's going to be a little bass, but yeah, you know, we'll get up there and have a little look. I'm determined. I keep thinking, oh, just one more fish on this mark, but it ain't happening. So let's get wrapped up and we'll get moving. And once I'm set up on the next mark, I'll bring you back. Well, that's a turn up for the books. Just as I was pulling the rods in, we had this little fella. Now I think that is a massive brittle star. He's a hard, that's massive. That's a big brittle star, I think. I'm gonna get a few photos of that. It's interesting to see up on these inshore banks. Normally that's a bit of an offshore fish, but I'll get a photo of that. It's a lovely little thing. If you can see it, there you go, look. He's have had a little move. So we're up in Southampton water now. The little mark that I've picked here doesn't have a great deal of tide. We are fishing in 40 foot of water. I'm sat on a bank and we're in 40 foot of water. So either side of that bank is a bit deeper, drops down to about 60. We've had bass here before, we've had flounder, we've had plaice, we've had dogfish, whiting, pout, all sorts here. So, we've had gurnard here as well, little tubs. We've had bream, we've had literally everything you can think of. Smoothhounds, thornbacks, we've had them all on this mark. Generally, I don't fish this mark until the summer. So this is the first time I fished it, we're end of winter, beginning of spring. So I have no idea what this mark will fish like. It might be completely crap. It might just be stuffed with whiting. There's not a great deal showing on the sounder. But let's just see how we get on. Never know, might pick up something. Of course, we'll bring you back. It didn't take long. Literally just stopped that first little video clip then. Little tappies. Of course the sun is in the wrong place. What we got? We got anything? Don't know if we picked anything up. We're getting lots of little taps then. Almost pouty or whiting, something like that. But nothing on the hook. But that's interesting. Bite straight from the off. I mean, there's nothing really showing on the sounder. But that's good. Good. If we start finding some fish. I thought I was filming then, but I wasn't. There you go. First little fish here. Oh, God, that's spiky. Little bass. Oops. This one is particularly spiky. Anyway, that was fun on little spinning gear. Getting lots of rattles on most of the rods, but I don't know. You can see how beautiful it is in there. Out in the Solent, it's choppy as anything. It's got potential for a big bass here. I've got the net set up and everything ready to go. That's how confident I feel right now. It's always like that when you change marks. You know, you've been like sat on a mark for an hour and you haven't had any bites. You think, well, I'm going to move. and you get on another mark, and all of a sudden that confidence boost is straight back on. Got a good feeling about this. If we can find a small whiting or a small pout, a little tiny thing like this, then we'll get an 8-0 for its nose and send him back down. I think it's a good little mark for live baiting on here. Be nice to see a few summer species off of this. Maybe a few bream. I don't know. You won't see any bream. They're not this early. But we've had a little bass. Be nice to see a gurnard. Or a big old slab bass. Let's just see how we get on. Right, I have found a few shoals of bass. Now whether I can get to it or not, it's very tight to the shore. I'm at 3 foot at the moment. I've got my engine tilted right up. I'm still at 3 foot at the moment. We can go down to about 2 max. That's taking the piss, that is. There's birds diving all over the place. Don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it. I'm at 2.9. God, they are all along this shoreline. Right, I'm going to go for a cast. I'm at 2.6 at the moment. Nowhere near it. 2.8. Just don't think I'm going to be able to get near it. 2.9. Let me turn this camera around so you can see all of this. Tell you what, I'll turn the boat round. I'm going to go further on down. I might be able to get in closer. Let me just turn this boat round. 2.6, guys, it's dangerous. Can you see that in the background? Yeah, look, see all these birds? That's all bass pushing the white bait up. But I don't think I can get to it. I'm going to try and get closer. Oh, that's big bass in there, man. That is big. Well, I'm going to change my lure for a surface lure. And we're going to get right up there. We might end up getting stuck. But you got to do it. You got to do it for the fish, man. Let's get one of these on. Might just be small ones with the odd lunker chucked in, but we can find. Oh man, that's going off over there. This is going to be dangerous. We're going to go for it. I've come up into Southampton water to see if I can find bass on the lures, and I haven't been able to. I'm just mooching back down towards the entrance, and I've come across this. Right, come on, let's do it. Let's get. Let's see how close we can get. Just gonna edge myself in, nice and slowly. Man, there is some big fish jumping in that. There is some big fish. Well, that's us done. So we found a few shoals of bass, but they were in like a foot of water. I just couldn't get anywhere near them, so I held back a little bit. I'm still casting, but held back a little bit, hoping as the tide drops the shoals would come with it, but they just died. I didn't die, the feeding frenzy stopped. I can see another little shoal right over there. Again, it's tight into the shore, I can't get it. I might even do a little shore session down here tomorrow night, or Tuesday's good weather, because it was quite hard ground. I could probably wade out to where these fish were feeding. I imagine they're all quite small fish, but I did see a few big busts in amongst them, so there's some big fish in there. But anyway, that's us done for the day. We're nearly on, what are we on, 4 o'clock, so I better go get back into the marina. If you liked the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. It helps me out massively and it's completely free. And join the Solent Warrior team. We'll see you on the next one, guys.